Her billionaire husband told her, "I'm leaving for a business tour. Don't call me unless it's urgent." But that evening, when she and their 13-year-old son stopped by her mother's house in New York, they saw his car parked outside. And when she looked through the window and saw what he was doing inside, her world shattered and his billionaire life fell apart in an instant. Don't miss Chapter 10, and this will be the best story of your life. Hi, my beautiful family. Welcome back to Mr. Peter's family. Loretta pressed her palm against the cold glass, watching her husband kiss the woman who had poisoned her entire childhood. The evening air bit at her skin, but she couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Through the window of her late mother's New York brownstone, she saw everything. Matthew's hands tangled in Kimberly's hair. Kimberly's body pressed against the man who had promised Loretta forever. "Mom." Kevin's voice cracked beside her. "Mom, is that Dad?" Loretta's throat closed. Her son. Her baby boy stood next to her, watching his father destroy their family. She wanted to cover his eyes, to shield him, but Kevin was already pulling out his phone. "Kevin, don't. I'm recording this." His hands shook as he held up the phone, pointing it at the window. "You need proof, Mom. You need everyone to see what he really is." Loretta's mind spun back through time. This house, her mother's house, the place where she'd learned to ride a bike, where she'd baked cookies on Sunday mornings, where her mother had held her after nightmares. Then her mother got sick. The illness came fast, brutal, and when she died, everything changed. Her father brought Kimberly home within months. Young, beautiful Kimberly who smiled at everyone except Loretta. Behind closed doors, Kimberly locked her in the basement when her father worked late, told him Loretta was making up stories for attention, wore her mother's jewelry and sat in her mother's chair and erased every trace of the woman who had loved Loretta more than life itself. Loretta learned to be quiet, to be small, to survive. And now Kimberly had Matthew too. "I've known for months, Mom." Kevin lowered his phone, his young face twisted with pain. "I followed Dad one night when he said he had a business meeting. I saw him come here. I saw them together. I've been taking pictures, recording videos. I wanted to tell you, but I needed to be sure. I needed evidence so he couldn't lie his way out of it." Loretta stared at her son. "Months? You've carried this alone? I'm not a little kid anymore." Tears streamed down Kevin's face, but his voice stayed strong. "I know what Dad's been doing. I've watched him lie to your face every single morning, kiss you goodbye and then come here to her. I've wanted to scream at him, to tell you, but I thought if I had proof we could leave him. We could finally leave him." Something inside Loretta shattered and reformed at the same time. Her son had been protecting her, fighting for her, while she'd been trying to save a marriage that was already dead. Through the window, Matthew pulled back from Kimberly. They were laughing. Kimberly touched his face with the same hands that used to slap Loretta when her father wasn't looking. "Kevin." Loretta's voice came out steady, cold. "Show me everything you have." Kevin scrolled through his phone. Dozens of photos, videos of Matthew and Kimberly at restaurants, entering hotels, kissing in his car, timestamps showing lies upon lies, business trips that never happened, late nights at the office that were really nights with her. "There's more." Kevin's jaw clenched. "I hacked Dad's email. I know that's wrong, but I had to know the truth. They've been planning this for years, Mom. Years. They talk about how stupid you are, how easy it is to fool you. Kimberly keeps saying once Dad divorces you, she'll finally have everything that should have been hers." Loretta's hands curled into fists. Everything that should have been hers. Kimberly had said the same thing the day of Loretta's mother's funeral, standing at the graveside in a black dress that was too tight, too young, whispering to one of the guests that she'd finally gotten the life she deserved. "We're leaving." Loretta grabbed Kevin's hand. "Right now. We're not going home tonight." "Where are we going?" Loretta looked at the brownstone one last time. At the window where her mother used to wave goodbye, at the door where Kimberly now stood, queen of a stolen castle. To find the truth about what they took from us. She pulled Kevin to the car. As they drove away, Kevin looked back at the house. Mom, are we going to destroy him? Loretta's hands tightened on the steering wheel. We're going to take back everything they stole, and then we're going to watch them lose it all. Good. Kevin's voice turned hard. Because I want him to hurt the way he hurt you. The way he hurt us. Loretta drove through the Manhattan streets, her mind racing. There was one place she needed to go, one person who might have answers. The storage unit where she'd locked away her mother's belongings after the funeral, too heartbroken to face them. Maybe it was time to face everything. Mom? Kevin's voice softened. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. Don't apologize. Loretta reached over and squeezed his hand. You were protecting me. That's more than your father has ever done. He doesn't deserve to be called my father. No, Loretta agreed. He doesn't. They pulled up to the storage facility on the edge of the city. Loretta hadn't been here in years. The lock was rusty, difficult to open. Inside, boxes covered in dust held everything she'd been too broken to look at. Her mother's clothes, her mother's books, her mother's journals. Loretta opened the first journal with trembling hands. Her mother's handwriting filled the pages. Dates, thoughts, fears, and then she found it. Entry after entry about Kimberly, about her father's affair, about how her mother knew she was dying and knew what Kimberly would do to Loretta after she was gone. Kevin, look at this. Her mother's final entries detailed everything. A will she'd written, leaving Loretta properties, investments, a jewelry design business she'd built in secret. Instructions to find Benjamin Okafor, a lawyer on Fifth Avenue who had copies of everything. But there was more. Tucked between the pages was a photograph. Young Kimberly with Loretta's father, their arms around each other, laughing. Loretta flipped it over. A date written in her mother's shaky handwriting. The affair had started before her mother died. Kevin stared at the photo. They did this while Grandma was sick? They did this while she was dying? Loretta's voice shook with rage. They couldn't even wait until she was gone. Kevin looked at his mother, and in that moment he looked older than his years. Then we make them pay for every second she suffered. We make them pay for everything. Loretta found an envelope addressed to her, her mother's last letter. She opened it with shaking hands and read her mother's final words, written in a trembling script. My darling Loretta, if you're reading this, then I'm gone, and you're finally old enough to understand the truth. I stayed silent to protect you, but silence only protected them. Go to Benjamin Okafor. He has everything you need to take back what's yours. These people tried to erase you, baby girl. Don't let them. Be the woman I raised you to be. Be the phoenix who rises from their ashes. Loretta pressed the letter to her chest, tears streaming down her face. Kevin wrapped his arms around her. We'll do it, Mom. We'll make Grandma proud. Loretta wiped her tears and stood. Tomorrow morning we go see Benjamin Okafor. Tonight we stay somewhere your father will never find us. Where? Loretta smiled grimly. Your father doesn't know everything about me. There are parts of my life he never bothered to learn about. People he never thought were important enough to remember. As they loaded the boxes into the car, Loretta felt something shift inside her. The scared little girl who'd hidden from Kimberly was gone. The quiet wife who'd accepted Matthew's lies was dead. What remained was a woman with nothing left to lose and everything to take back. Kevin climbed into the passenger seat and looked at his mother. Dad's going to call soon. He always calls when he's done with his meetings. Let him call. Loretta started the engine. I'm done answering to Matthew Neeson. Her phone rang. Matthew's name flashed on the screen. Loretta watched it ring. Once, twice, 3 times. Then silence. Doesn't it feel good? Kevin asked. Ignoring him? It feels like freedom. They drove into the night, leaving behind the house where Loretta's mother had died, where Kimberly had stolen everything, where Matthew had built his throne of lies. Tomorrow, Loretta would start taking it all back. Tonight, she would mourn the woman she'd been and prepare to become the woman her mother had known she could be. "Mom?" Kevin's voice was quiet in the darkness. "Promise me something. Anything. Promise me we won't stop until they have nothing, until they know what it feels like to lose everything." Loretta looked at her son, at the determination in his young eyes, at the strength he'd inherited from her mother. "I promise." Chapter 2. The Inheritance. The storage unit key felt heavy in Loretta's pocket as she and Kevin walked through Brooklyn in the early morning light. They'd spent the night in a small hotel, somewhere Matthew would never think to look. Loretta barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw her mother's handwriting in those journals. Every word a testimony to suffering, every page proof that Kimberly had been a poison from the very beginning. "The address is 2 blocks away." Kevin checked his phone, walking close to his mother's side. "Benjamin Okafor, attorney at law, 5th Avenue office." "Mum, what if he doesn't remember Grandma? What if he threw everything away?" "He didn't." Loretta's voice carried a certainty she didn't quite feel. "My mother trusted him. She wouldn't have written his name if she thought he'd fail her." They turned the corner and found themselves standing before an old building, the kind that had survived decades of New York's evolution. The directory showed Benjamin Okafor on the 3rd floor, no elevator. They climbed the stairs, their footsteps echoing in the quiet building. At the top, a frosted glass door read, "Benjamin Okafor, Family Law." Loretta knocked. "Come in." The office was small but dignified. Bookshelves lined the walls, filled with leather-bound law books and case files. Behind a massive wooden desk sat a man with silver hair and kind eyes, wearing a suit that had seen better days but was impeccably maintained. He looked up from his papers and froze. "Dear God." He stood slowly, his eyes fixed on Loretta's face. "You look exactly like her. Exactly like your mother." Loretta's throat tightened. "You remember her?" "Remember her." Benjamin came around the desk. "I've been waiting for you for years. Your mother was one of the finest people I ever knew. When she died, and your father made those documents disappear, I thought I'd failed her. But she told me you'd come eventually. She said when you were ready, you'd find your way here." Kevin stepped forward. "You have proof? Proof of what they stole?" Benjamin looked at the boy and smiled sadly. "You must be Kevin. Your grandmother talked about you before you were even born. She said you'd be strong, like your mother." He turned back to Loretta. "Sit, please. We have much to discuss." Loretta and Kevin sat in the worn leather chairs across from Benjamin's desk. He pulled out a file box from a locked cabinet thick with papers. "Your mother came to me when she got her diagnosis. She knew she didn't have much time, and she knew what would happen after she was gone. She'd seen how your father looked at Kimberly. She'd heard the whispers. So she prepared." Benjamin spread documents across the desk, property deeds, investment portfolios, business registrations. Your mother owned 4 properties in Manhattan. She bought them years before she got sick, using money she'd inherited from her own mother. She never told your father. These properties are worth millions now. Loretta stared at the addresses. Buildings she'd walked past 1,000 times, never knowing her mother owned them. "There's more." Benjamin pulled out another set of papers. "Your mother was a jewelry designer. She created pieces for private clients, built a reputation in certain circles. She kept it separate from your father, kept the money in accounts he didn't know about. She left everything to you in a will she filed with me. But after she died, we never saw any of this." Loretta's hands shook as she touched the documents. "Kimberly took over everything, the house, the accounts, all of it. Because your father filed a different will, one that claimed your mother left everything to him, which he then transferred to Kimberly. But I have the original. I have your mother's signature, witnessed and notarized. Everything Kimberly has been living off belongs to you." Kevin leaned forward, his young face intense. "Can we take it back? Can we prove they stole from my mom?" Benjamin met the boy's eyes. We can do more than that. We can file criminal fraud charges. What they did wasn't just wrong, it was illegal. But Loretta, you need to understand what this means. The moment we file these documents, Matthew and Kimberly will know. They'll fight back with everything they have. Let them fight. Loretta's voice came out hard, certain. I'm done being afraid. Benjamin nodded slowly. There's something else you should know. Your mother owned shares in your father's company. A significant percentage. She never sold them, which means legally they passed to you. And when Matthew's company merged with your father's company years back, those shares became part of a much larger empire. Loretta felt the air leave her lungs. I own part of Matthew's company. A substantial part, enough to cause him serious problems if you decide to exercise your rights as a shareholder. Benjamin's smile was grim. Your mother was brilliant. She built a safety net for you that they never saw coming. Kevin grabbed his mother's hand. We can destroy him. We can take everything. Kevin, Loretta started. No, Mom. Her son's eyes blazed. He deserves this. They both do. Grandma knew it. That's why she prepared all of this. She knew what kind of people they were. Benjamin watched the exchange, then spoke quietly. There's one more thing. Your mother left you a letter. She asked me to give it to you when you came. He pulled out an envelope, yellowed with age. She wrote this the week before she died. Loretta took the envelope with trembling hands, her mother's handwriting on the front. For my Loretta, when she's ready to fight. She opened it carefully, aware of Kevin and Benjamin watching. The letter was written in her mother's shaky handwriting, growing weaker as the words progressed. My darling girl, if you're reading this, then you've found Benjamin and you've learned the truth. I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you from them while I was alive. I was weak when I should have been strong, but I tried to protect you the only way I knew how, by building something they couldn't touch, something that would be yours when you were ready to claim it. Kimberly will have taken everything she could see. Let her. Those things don't matter. What matters is what I hid, what I built for you in secret. Use it. Take back your life. And remember, baby girl, that revenge isn't about hatred. It's about justice. It's about showing people who tried to erase you that you cannot be erased. I won't be there to see you triumph. That's my only regret. But I know you will. You have my strength and your own fire. Together, they'll make you unstoppable. Be the woman I wish I'd been brave enough to be. Make them remember your name. Loretta's tears fell onto the paper, smudging the old ink. Kevin wrapped his arm around her shoulders. We'll make her proud, Mom. I swear we will. Benjamin gave them a moment, then spoke gently. I can file everything today. The fraud charges, the property claims, the shareholder rights. But once I do, there's no going back. Matthew will lose his mind when he realizes what's happening. File everything. Loretta wiped her tears and stood. All of it. Today. Where will you stay? Matthew will try to find you. Loretta thought of the boxes in her car, her mother's journals and letters. We'll figure it out. No. Benjamin pulled out a business card and wrote an address on the back. Go here. It's a colleague of mine, Darius Wright. He helps families in situations like yours. He'll keep you safe while we fight this battle. Kevin took the card. Darius Wright. What kind of name is that? The name of a good man. Benjamin looked at Loretta. He lost his wife to a powerful man's cruelty years ago. Now he dedicates his life to helping people escape situations like yours. He'll understand what you're going through. Loretta pocketed the card. Thank you, Benjamin, for keeping my mother's secrets, for waiting for me. Your mother was a remarkable woman. She deserved better than what life gave her. Benjamin walked them to the door. But she created something remarkable too. She created you, and now you're going to show them all what a mistake they made. As they descended the stairs, Kevin looked at his mother. Are you scared? Terrified, Loretta admitted. But I'm more angry than scared, and anger is what's going to get us through this. They reached the street, and Loretta pulled out the card Benjamin had given her. an address in Brooklyn. Let's go meet Darius Wright. Her phone buzzed. Messages from Matthew, dozens of them. Where was she? Why wasn't she answering? Did she forget they had dinner plans? The lies continued even now. Even when he didn't know, she knew. Mum, you should answer him. Tell him what we're doing. No. Loretta silenced her phone. Let him wonder. Let him worry. He's been making me feel small and invisible for years. Now it's his turn. They got in the car and drove toward Brooklyn, toward Darius Wright and whatever came next. Loretta looked at her mother's letter one more time, reading the final line. Make them remember your name. I will, Mum, she whispered. I promise I will. Kevin squeezed her hand. Grandma would be so proud of you right now. She'd be proud of both of us. Loretta smiled through her tears. We're not victims anymore, Kevin. We're not the people they tried to break. We're the people who survived them. And now we're going to make sure everyone knows it. The Brooklyn address led them to a brownstone with a small garden out front. A sign in the window read, Wright Family Counseling, a safe place. Loretta and Kevin looked at each other. Ready? She asked. Ready, Kevin confirmed. They walked up the steps together, mother and son, and knocked on the door that would change everything. Chapter 3. The Counselor. The door opened to reveal a man who looked like he'd seen every kind of pain the world could offer and survived it all. Darius Wright stood tall in the doorway, his dark eyes taking in Loretta and Kevin with a gentleness that immediately put them at ease. His silver-threaded hair and weathered face spoke of wisdom earned through suffering. You must be Loretta. His voice was deep, warm. Benjamin called. Said you'd be coming. Said you needed somewhere safe. We don't want to impose, Loretta started. You're not imposing. You're surviving. There's a difference. Darius stepped aside. Come in, both of you. The brownstone interior was comfortable, lived in. Photographs lined the walls, but Loretta noticed they were all of other people, other families. None of Darius himself. Families I've helped over the years, Darius explained, following her gaze. They send me photos sometimes. Let me know they're okay. It's how I know the work matters. Kevin wandered toward a bookshelf filled with psychology texts and novels. Darius watched him carefully. You're carrying something heavy, young man. I can see it in the way you hold your shoulders. Kevin turned, surprised. How did you? I was a pastor before I became a counselor. You learn to read people, learn to see the weight they carry. Darius gestured toward a comfortable living room. Sit, tell me what happened. Loretta and Kevin sank into a worn leather couch, and then, slowly, Loretta told him everything. The window, Kimberly, her mother's death, the stolen inheritance, Matthew's lies. Darius listened without interrupting, his face revealing nothing but compassion. When she finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Your mother sounds like she was an extraordinary woman. She was. Loretta's voice cracked. She tried to protect me even after she was gone. And she succeeded. She left you weapons to fight back with. That's not just love. That's strategy. Darius leaned forward. But before we talk about what comes next, I need to know something. Kevin, can you answer honestly? The boy straightened. Yes, sir. How long have you known about your father's affair? Kevin's jaw clenched. Months. I followed him one night, saw him with her, started collecting evidence after that. And you didn't tell your mother because? Because I wanted to protect her. I wanted to have proof so Dad couldn't talk his way out of it. Kevin's voice shook. I know it was wrong to keep it from her, but I didn't know what else to do. Darius nodded slowly. You did what you thought was right. That takes courage. But Kevin, carrying secrets like that, watching your father lie every day, that damages you. It creates wounds that don't heal easily. I'm fine. No, you're not. Darius's voice was kind but firm. You're angry and hurt and confused. You watched your father betray your mother and you feel guilty because part of you still loves him even though you hate what he's done. That's normal. But it's also painful. And you need to deal with that pain before it deals with you. Kevin's eyes filled with tears. I don't want to love him anymore. I want to hate him for what he did to Mom. You can't choose what you feel, son. You can only choose what you do about it. Darius pulled a tissue box closer to Kevin. Your father is still your father. That doesn't mean you have to forgive him or trust him. It just means you have to find a way to live with what he is. Loretta watched her son break down, watched Darius handle him with a care Matthew had never shown. This stranger understood her boy better in 5 minutes than his father had in years. Can we stay here? Loretta asked quietly. Just for a while, until we figure out what to do next. You can stay as long as you need. Darius stood. I have a guest room upstairs, 2 beds. It's not fancy, but it's safe. Matthew doesn't know about me, and he won't find you here. Why are you helping us? You don't even know us. Darius's face clouded with old pain. Because someone should have helped my wife when she needed it. Because powerful men destroy families and get away with it too often. And because Benjamin Okafor has never sent me someone who didn't deserve help. He showed them upstairs to a simple room with 2 twin beds, a dresser, and a window overlooking the garden. Rest today. Tomorrow we'll start planning. Benjamin will file the legal paperwork. I'll help you and Kevin deal with the emotional aftermath. And together we'll make sure Matthew Neeson faces consequences for what he's done. After Darius left them alone, Kevin sat on one of the beds, exhausted. Mum, do you think Dad's looking for us? Probably. Loretta sat beside him. But he won't find us, not until we're ready. What if he tries to take me away from you? What if the court says I have to live with him? Loretta pulled her son close. I won't let that happen. We have evidence now. We have the truth. No judge will give you to a man who abandoned his family. I recorded everything, Mom, all those videos on my phone. Should I give them to Benjamin? Yes, tomorrow. Tonight, just rest. But Kevin couldn't rest. His mind was racing. Tell me about Grandma. Tell me something I don't know. Loretta thought back through the years. She used to sing to me at night, old songs her mother taught her. And she'd tell me stories about women who were strong, who fought back against people who tried to hurt them. I thought they were just stories, but maybe she was preparing me. Maybe she knew I'd need to be one of those women someday. You are one of those women. Kevin's voice was fierce. You're the strongest person I know. A knock on the door interrupted them. Darius stood in the hallway holding a tray. Brought you both some dinner, nothing fancy, soup and bread, but it's warm. They ate together in the guest room, and Loretta felt something she hadn't felt in years. Safety, the sense that someone cared about their well-being without wanting anything in return. Darius? Kevin spoke between bites. Benjamin said you lost your wife. What happened? Kevin, Loretta protested. It's all right. Darius sat in the chair by the window. She died because I wasn't strong enough to protect her from someone powerful, someone who thought his money and status meant he could do whatever he wanted. I learned too late that silence doesn't keep you safe, it just makes the powerful more powerful. Is that why you do this? Help families like us? I do this because I couldn't save her, but maybe I can save others. Maybe I can make sure her death meant something. Kevin set down his soup bowl. We're going to destroy my father. Is that wrong? Does that make us bad people? No. Darius's voice was certain. Seeking justice isn't wrong. Making someone face consequences for their actions isn't evil. What would be wrong is letting him continue hurting people without ever paying a price. That's what I think too. Kevin looked at his mother. I don't want to hate Dad, but I want him to understand what he did. I want him to feel even a tiny bit of the pain he caused. Loretta stroked her son's hair. We're not doing this for revenge, Kevin. We're doing this so your father can't hurt anyone else, so Kimberly can't steal from anyone else, and so we can have the life your grandmother wanted us to have." Later, after Kevin fell asleep, Loretta stood at the window looking out at Darius's garden. She heard footsteps behind her. "Can't sleep?" Darius asked. "Too much in my head." Loretta turned to face him. "Thank you for helping us, for helping Kevin especially. He needed someone like you. He's a good kid, smart, loyal, but he's been forced to grow up too fast. That's what men like Matthew do. They destroy childhood along with everything else." "Were you really a pastor?" "Long time ago, before I learned that faith without action is meaningless, before I understood that sometimes God's work means standing up to people who think they're untouchable." "Do you think we'll win against Matthew and Kimberly?" Darius was quiet for a moment. "I think you've already won something important. You've chosen to fight instead of disappear. That takes more courage than most people ever find." "I'm terrified." "Good. Fear means you understand what you're up against. But don't let it stop you." Darius moved to stand beside her at the window. "Your mother left you weapons. Benjamin is giving you legal support. I'll help you and Kevin stay strong through what comes next. You're not alone in this fight." Loretta felt tears prick her eyes. "I've been alone for so long. Even when I was married, I was alone. Matthew never really saw me, never really cared what I thought or felt." "Then he's a fool, because from what I've seen, you're remarkable." Loretta looked at Darius, at the kindness in his eyes, and felt something shift inside her. Hope, maybe, or just the possibility of hope. "Tomorrow Matthew will realize we're really gone," she said. "He'll start making threats, demanding I come back. Let him demand. You're not his possession. You're your own person, and it's time he learned that." Loretta nodded. "My whole life people have tried to make me smaller. Kimberly, my father, Matthew, they wanted me quiet and grateful and invisible. And now? Now I'm going to make sure I'm the only thing they can see." Darius smiled. "That's the spirit. That's how you survive people like them. You become so bright they can't look away." They stood together in comfortable silence, watching the night settle over Brooklyn. Tomorrow the war would truly begin. Benjamin would file the paperwork, Matthew would explode, Kimberly would panic. But tonight, for the first time in years, Loretta felt like she might actually win. And more than that, she felt like she deserved to. Chapter 4. The Breaking. Matthew's fury arrived at dawn. Loretta woke to her phone vibrating endlessly on the nightstand. 20 missed calls, 40 text messages, each one more frantic than the last. "Where are you? Answer me right now. You're making a huge mistake. I'm calling the police. You can't take Kevin without my permission." She scrolled through them all, her face expressionless. Kevin stirred in the other bed. "Is that Dad?" "Yes." Loretta silenced the phone. "But we're not answering. Not yet." A new message appeared, this one different from the rest. "I know about the lawyer. I know what you're trying to do. You won't win this." So Matthew had been served. Benjamin worked fast. Kevin sat up, reading the fear in his mother's face. "What did he say?" "He knows about the legal case. He's threatening us." "Let him threaten." Kevin's voice was hard. "We have evidence. We have the truth. What does he have? Lies." A knock on the door made them both jump. Darius's voice came through. "Loretta, Benjamin's on the phone. Says it's important." Loretta wrapped herself in a robe and went downstairs. Darius handed her his phone, his face grim. "Benjamin? What happened?" "Matthew showed up at my office an hour ago." Benjamin's voice was tight. He was raging, threatening to sue me, to destroy my practice, to have me disbarred. I had to call security to remove him. "I'm sorry. I never meant—" "Don't apologize. This is exactly what we expected. Men like Matthew always think they can intimidate their way out of consequences." Papers rustled on Benjamin's end. "But here's what you need to know. I filed everything yesterday. The fraud charges against Kimberly and your father's estate, the property claims, your shareholder rights. It's all official now." "What does that mean?" "It means Kimberly woke up this morning to find all her accounts frozen, the properties she's been living off. She can't touch them pending the investigation. The money she's been spending, that stops today. Loretta felt a savage satisfaction. Good. Matthew also received notification of divorce proceedings, and Kevin's testimony about the affair is part of the filing. The judge will want to hear from him. Kevin's ready. He wants to tell the truth. That's what I told Matthew. He lost his mind, started screaming that I was turning his son against him, that you're poisoning Kevin's mind. The man is completely unraveling. Darius handed Loretta a cup of coffee. She took it gratefully. What happens next? Court hearing in a week. You, Matthew, and Kimberly will all have to appear. The judge will review the evidence about the stolen inheritance and the affair. This is going to get ugly, Loretta. Matthew will come after you with everything he has. I'm ready. Are you? Because he'll say terrible things. He'll try to make you look unstable, unfit to have custody of Kevin. He'll drag your name through every piece of dirt he can find. Then he won't find much, because I've been a good wife and a good mother, which is more than he can say about being a husband or father. That's the spirit. I'll call you with more updates. Stay safe. Stay away from Matthew. Loretta ended the call and handed the phone back to Darius. He went to Benjamin's office and made threats. Apparently he's falling apart. Good. Darius sipped his own coffee. Men like Matthew fall apart when they lose control. When the world doesn't obey them anymore. It's when he's most dangerous, but also when he's most vulnerable. Kevin came downstairs, dressed and alert despite the early hour. Is Dad freaking out? Completely. Loretta showed him the texts. He says he's calling the police. Let him call. We're not doing anything wrong. We're just not going back to his lies. Darius looked at the young man Kevin was becoming. You've grown up fast, haven't you? I had to. When your dad's a liar, you either grow up or you become one too. Kevin poured himself orange juice. I chose to grow up. The day passed in strange quiet. They stayed inside Darius's brownstone, afraid to go out in case Matthew had people looking for them. Kevin did homework at the kitchen table. Loretta went through more of her mother's journals, finding strength in the words her mother had written. Darius worked in his office, seeing clients who were facing their own battles with powerful people who'd hurt them. In the late afternoon, Loretta's phone rang. Not Matthew this time. Kimberly. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. You vindictive witch. Kimberly's voice was pure venom. You froze my accounts. You stole my house. You destroyed everything. I took back what you stole from me. Loretta kept her voice calm. Those properties belonged to my mother. That money was mine. You forged documents to steal it. Now you're facing the consequences. Your mother gave me those things. She wanted me to have them. My mother hated you. I have her journals. I know what you did to her while she was dying. I know how you laughed about it. Silence on the other end. Then, you can't prove anything. I can prove everything. Benjamin has the original will, the real one, not the fake one you and my father created. Loretta's voice turned to ice. You're going to prison, Kimberly, for fraud, for forgery, for stealing from a dying woman's daughter. Matthew will protect me. He loves me. Matthew can't even protect himself right now. His company is falling apart. His reputation is destroyed. And all because he couldn't keep his hands off his wife's stepmother. You two deserve each other. You think you've won? Kimberly's voice rose. You think taking some properties and some money makes you the victor? Matthew and I have been together for years. We built something real while you were sitting at home playing the dutiful wife. You were always so pathetic, so desperate for love. Your father saw it. Matthew saw it. You're just not enough, Loretta. You never were. The words should have hurt. Once upon a time they would have destroyed her, but now they just made Loretta laugh. You know what's funny, Kimberly? You spent years trying to make me feel worthless, trying to convince me I was nothing without you, without my father, without Matthew. But all you did was teach me to survive without any of you. And now I'm going to watch you lose everything the same way I did. Except I'll be smiling. She hung up. Kevin looked at her with awe. Mom. That was amazing. That was a long time coming. Loretta's hands shook, but her voice stayed strong. She's scared. That's why she called. She's realizing she's actually going to lose. Darius appeared in the doorway. Good. Let her be scared. Fear is what people like her deserve to feel. That evening, they ordered takeout and ate in Darius's living room. Kevin seemed lighter, as if each day away from Matthew lifted more weight from his shoulders. Darius? Kevin asked between bites of pizza. When your wife died, how did you keep going? Darius set down his food. I didn't, for a while. I fell apart, drank too much, blamed myself, hated the world. But then I realized that falling apart meant he won. The man who killed her won, and I couldn't let that happen. So you started helping other people? I started helping other people because I couldn't help her. But maybe if I help enough people, maybe if I save enough families from men like him, then her death will have meant something. That's all we can do with tragedy. We can either let it destroy us, or we can let it transform us into something stronger. Kevin nodded slowly. I don't want Dad's actions to destroy me. I want them to make me stronger. Then you're already on the right path. Darius smiled. You're already becoming the man your father never had the courage to be. Loretta watched them together and felt overwhelming gratitude. This stranger had given them sanctuary, had helped her son process pain that could have crushed him, had shown them both that not all men were like Matthew. Later that night, after Kevin went to bed, Loretta found Darius in his office. Thank you for what you said to Kevin about transformation. He needed to hear that. He's a remarkable young man. You should be proud. I am. He's been stronger through this than I have. Strength isn't about not breaking. It's about breaking and still finding a way to stand up again. Darius looked at Loretta carefully. You're standing. That takes immense courage. I don't feel courageous. I feel terrified. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive. The bravest people I know are the ones who are scared, but keep moving forward anyway. Why are you really doing this? Loretta asked suddenly. Why help us when you don't have to? Darius was quiet for a long moment. Because I see my wife in you, the strength she had, the courage to face something bigger than herself, and I see the life she could have had if someone had helped her stand up to him. I'm helping you because I couldn't help her. It's that simple and that complicated. Your wife was lucky to have you. No, I was lucky to have her. She made me believe in goodness. When she died, I thought that belief died with her. But then people like you and Kevin walked through my door, and I remember why fighting matters. Loretta felt tears prick her eyes. I was so lonely in my marriage. Even when Matthew was there, I was alone. I'd forgotten what it felt like to have someone really see me. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be valued. Matthew's failure to do those things says everything about him and nothing about you. They stood in the quiet of his office, the night settling around them. Tomorrow, I need to see my father, Loretta said suddenly. Benjamin says he's dying, that he doesn't have much time left. Do you want to see him? I don't know, but I think I need to. I need him to know what Kimberly really is, what she did to all of us. I'll drive you. You shouldn't face him alone. Kevin will want to come. Then we all go. We face him together. Loretta nodded, feeling strength in the word together. She'd spent so long fighting alone. Now she had people who stood beside her. Darius, what happens when this is over? When we've taken back everything they stole? Then you build the life your mother wanted you to have. You become the woman you were always meant to be, and you show your son what real strength looks like. Loretta smiled through her tears. I like the sound of that. So do I. Darius smiled back. So do I. Chapter 5. The Father. The Connecticut facility smelled of antiseptic and decay. Loretta walked through the halls with Kevin on one side and Darius on the other, her steps steady despite the nausea rolling through her stomach. She hadn't seen her father in years, hadn't wanted to. Every memory of him was tangled up with Kimberly, with betrayal, with the sickness that had consumed their family. "Mrs. Neeson," a nurse approached them. "Your father is in room 42, but I need to warn you he's very weak. The liver disease is advanced. He doesn't have much time." "How much time?" Kevin asked. "Days, maybe weeks. Not more than that." Loretta nodded. "Thank you." They walked to room 42. Through the open door she could see him. Her father, once so powerful and commanding, now reduced to a skeleton under white sheets. His skin had a yellow tinge. His breathing was labored. "You don't have to do this," Darius said quietly. "Yes, I do." Loretta stepped into the room. Her father's eyes opened. For a moment he didn't recognize her. Then his face crumpled. "Loretta, my God, Loretta." She said nothing, just stood at the foot of his bed, Kevin beside her. "Who's this?" Her father's eyes went to Kevin. Is this my grandson?" "Yes." Kevin's voice was cold. "I'm Kevin, and I'm here so you can see what you destroyed." Her father flinched. "You didn't mean to abandon Mom after Grandma died. You didn't mean to marry a woman who tortured her. You didn't mean to let Kimberly steal everything Grandma left for Mom." Kevin's voice rose. "What exactly didn't you mean to do?" "Kevin." Loretta touched her son's shoulder. "Let me." She moved closer to the bed. Her father reached for her hand, but she didn't take it. "Where's Kimberly?" he asked. "She hasn't been here in days. The nurses say she doesn't answer their calls. Kimberly's accounts have been frozen. The properties she's been living off have been seized. She's facing criminal fraud charges for forging documents to steal my inheritance." Loretta's voice was matter-of-fact. "She doesn't visit you because she got what she wanted. She doesn't need you anymore." Her father's face went pale. "What are you talking about? Kimberly loves me. Kimberly loves money and power. You were just a means to get it." Loretta pulled out her phone and showed him screenshots of the legal documents Benjamin had filed. "She forged Mom's will, made it look like Mom left everything to you, which you then transferred to Kimberly. But Benjamin Okafor kept copies of the real will, the one Mom filed before she died. Everything Kimberly has belongs to me." "That's not possible. I signed those papers myself." "You signed fraudulent documents. Whether you knew they were fake or not, you helped steal from your own daughter." Loretta's voice shook with barely contained rage. "Mom left me properties, investments, her jewelry business. She protected me even while she was dying, and you destroyed it all for a woman who doesn't even care if you live or die." Her father's eyes filled with tears. "I was lonely. Your mother was gone, and Kimberly made me feel young again." "Mom wasn't gone. She was dying. There's a difference. She was lying in a hospital bed fighting for her life, and you brought Kimberly to visit. I have a photograph. The date on the back proves you were having an affair before Mom died." The old man's face crumpled. "How did you—" "Mom knew. She documented everything in her journals. She knew what you were doing, and she knew what Kimberly would do to me after she was gone. That's why she prepared. That's why she built something you couldn't touch." "I'm sorry." Her father sobbed. "I was weak. I was selfish. I let her manipulate me." "You let her abuse your daughter." Loretta's voice turned to steel. "Do you know what Kimberly did to me after you married her? She locked me in the basement, told you I was making up stories, wore Mum's jewelry and sat in Mum's chair and erased every trace of the woman who loved you, and you let it happen because you were too busy being flattered by a young woman's attention." "I didn't know. You didn't want to know. There's a difference." Kevin stepped forward. "My mum tried to tell you. She tried to get you to see what Kimberly was doing, but you chose Kimberly over her every single time." Her father looked at Kevin, really looked at him. "You're so much like your grandmother. She had that same fire." "Don't talk about Grandma." Kevin's voice was hard. "You don't get to invoke her memory. You betrayed everything she stood for." Loretta watched her father break down completely. Part of her felt satisfaction. A larger part just felt empty. "Is there anything you want to say to me?" she asked finally. "Any apology that actually means something?" Her father struggled to sit up. Darius moved to help him, his face neutral. Once propped against pillows, the old man spoke. I destroyed our family. I chose a beautiful lie over an uncomfortable truth. I let Kimberly convince me you were the problem when she was the poison. He coughed, his body racked with pain. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't deserve it. But I want you to know that every day since your mother died, I've regretted it. Every single day. Regret doesn't give me back my childhood. Regret doesn't bring Mom back. Loretta's voice cracked. You were supposed to protect me. That was your job as my father. And you failed. I know. I came here to tell you that I'm taking back everything they stole. The properties, the money, the business Mom built, all of it. And I'm going to use it to become everything she wanted me to be. Without you, without Kimberly, without any of the people who tried to erase me. Her father nodded weakly. That's what you should do. That's what your mother would want. There's something else. Loretta pulled out her mother's journals. Mom documented everything. How Kimberly treated her while she was sick. How you brought Kimberly to the hospital. How Kimberly smiled at the funeral. I'm giving these to Benjamin. They'll be part of the evidence against Kimberly. Good. Her father's voice was barely a whisper. Use them. Destroy her the way she destroyed us. Kevin moved closer to the bed. Do you even care that my dad cheated on my mum with Kimberly? Or is that just another thing you're okay with? The old man's eyes widened. Matthew and Kimberly. For years. Loretta pulled out her phone again, showing him some of the evidence Kevin had collected. Your wife has been having an affair with my husband. They've been planning to take everything from me, just like you and Kimberly planned to take everything Mom left me. Her father stared at the photos, his face a mixture of shock and pain. She told me she loved me, that I was the only one. She lied. Loretta's voice was flat. She's always been a liar, and you were too blinded by her to see it. I'm a fool. Yes, you are. Loretta put away her phone. But at least you'll die knowing the truth. Kimberly used you. Matthew used me. And now they're going to pay for it. Darius spoke for the first time. Sir, I'm Darius Wright. I'm helping Loretta and Kevin through this. I want you to understand something. What you did to your daughter, the choices you made, they almost destroyed her. She's only standing here now because she's stronger than you ever gave her credit for. Her father looked at Darius, then back at Loretta. Are you happy? With him? I'm finding my way back to happiness, despite you, despite Matthew, despite everyone who tried to break me. That's all I can ask for. Her father closed his eyes. There's a safe deposit box. I told you about it before. Your mother's designs are there. Take them. Build the company she never got to build. Make something beautiful out of all this ugliness. I already am. Loretta stood. Goodbye, Father. I hope you find peace. But I won't be back. I understand. Tears streamed down his face. Tell Kevin. Tell him his grandfather was a failure, but his mother is a success. Tell him to learn from that difference. Kevin's face was hard. I already know the difference. You taught me what kind of man not to be. They turned to leave. At the door, her father called out one last time. Loretta? She paused but didn't turn around. Your mother would be so proud of you. I wish I could be too, but I gave up that right a long time ago. Loretta walked out without responding. In the hallway, Kevin broke down crying. Darius pulled him into a hug while Loretta leaned against the wall, her whole body shaking. He's dying, Kevin sobbed, and I don't feel sad. I just feel angry. Is that wrong? No. Darius held the boy. It's honest. You don't owe him sadness just because he's your grandfather. He made choices. Now he faces the consequences. Loretta pushed off from the wall. Let's go. I never want to come back here. They walked out of the facility into bright afternoon sunlight. In the parking lot, Loretta finally let herself cry. Darius held her while Kevin gripped her hand. It's over, she whispered. I said everything I needed to say. You were magnificent. Darius's voice was full of admiration. You stood in front of the man who failed you and you didn't break. You didn't beg for his approval. You just told him the truth. He looked so small, so pathetic. Loretta wiped her tears. I remember being terrified of him when I was young, and now he's just a dying old man who destroyed his life for someone who never loved him. That's justice, Kevin said fiercely. That's what he deserves. They drove back to Brooklyn in silence. Loretta stared out the window, watching Connecticut give way to New York, feeling lighter somehow, as if confronting her father had released something she'd been carrying for years. What happens now? She asked as they crossed into the city. Now you prepare for court. Darius glanced at her in the rearview mirror. Matthew and Kimberly will both be there. Benjamin says the judge wants to hear from everyone. It's going to be brutal. I'm ready. Loretta's voice was steel. I faced my father today. I can face them. That's my girl. Darius smiled. That's the woman who's going to win this war. Kevin squeezed his mother's hand. We're going to destroy them, Mom. For Grandma. For you. For us. Yes, Loretta looked at her son. We are. Chapter 6. The Designs. The safe deposit box key felt like victory in Loretta's hand. Benjamin had obtained a court order to access it using the documentation Loretta's mother had left. Now they stood in the bank vault. Loretta, Kevin, Darius, and Benjamin, preparing to open the box that held her mother's secrets. Ready? Benjamin asked. Loretta nodded. The bank employee inserted her key, Loretta inserted hers, and the box slid out. It was larger than she expected, heavy with contents. They carried it to a private viewing room. Loretta's hands shook as she lifted the lid. Inside were hundreds of sketches, jewelry designs drawn in her mother's careful hand, necklaces, rings, bracelets, earrings, each piece marked with notes about materials, measurements, inspiration, years of work, hidden away, waiting. Oh, Mom! Loretta touched the drawings reverently. You were so talented. Kevin pulled out sketch after sketch, his eyes wide. These are incredible. Grandma made all of these? She designed them. I don't think she ever got to create most of them. Loretta found a notebook, her mother's business plans, client lists, pricing structures, dreams written in fading ink. She was building something, planning to start her own company. Why didn't she? Darius asked gently. Because my father probably told her it was a waste of time. Because she was sick. Because Kimberly destroyed her spirit. Loretta's voice broke. Because she ran out of time. Benjamin pulled out a folder of legal documents. She trademarked a name. Elena's Legacy. That was your grandmother's name, wasn't it? Yes. Loretta looked at the trademark paperwork. She was going to name the company after her own mother. Then that's what you'll call it too. Kevin's voice was certain. Elena's Legacy. 3 generations of strong women. At the bottom of the box was a video camera, old and dusty, a tape inside labeled For Loretta. There's no way to play this here. Benjamin examined the camera. We'll need to find somewhere with the right equipment. I know a place. Darius pulled out his phone. A friend of mine restores old media. He can transfer this to digital. 2 hours later, they sat in Darius's friend's studio, watching the screen as the tape loaded. Loretta's mother appeared, sitting in what looked like a hospital room, thin and pale, but with her eyes blazing. My beautiful Loretta, if you're watching this, then I'm gone, and you've finally found what I left for you. Loretta gripped Kevin's hand, tears already streaming. I want you to know that every design in that box I created thinking of you, imagining them on you, dreaming of the day we'd open Elena's Legacy together. Her mother coughed, the sound painful. That day won't come now, but the company still can. Build it, baby girl. Create what I couldn't. Use my designs as the foundation, but add your own. Make it ours even though I can't be there. Kevin was crying silently. Darius had a hand on Loretta's shoulder. I know what Kimberly is. I know what she'll do after I'm gone. I documented everything. I gave copies to Benjamin. But more importantly, I built you weapons she can't see. These designs are worth millions if you know how to market them. The properties I left you will generate income. The shares in your father's company will give you power. Use it all. Take back your life. Her mother's face filled the screen, love radiating from her eyes. There's something else I need you to understand. I stayed with your father because I thought I could save him. I thought love could fix broken men. I was wrong. Don't make my mistake, Loretta. Don't sacrifice yourself trying to save someone who doesn't want to be saved. If Matthew ever fails you, walk away. Don't look back. Don't give him chances to hurt you again. Loretta sobbed. Her mother had known, had predicted it all. You have my strength, baby girl. You have your grandmother's fire. You have everything you need to survive them. But more than that, you deserve to thrive. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved by someone who sees your worth. Her mother smiled through her tears. Build the company. Create beautiful things. Show the world what Elena's daughters can do. And remember every single day that I loved you more than anything in this world, that loving you was the greatest honor of my life. The screen went black. The room was silent except for crying. Loretta couldn't speak, could barely breathe. Her mother's voice, her mother's face, her mother's love reaching across death to hold her one more time. She knew everything. Kevin's voice was thick with emotion. She predicted Dad. She predicted Kimberly. She knew what would happen. She knew because she'd lived through similar pain with your grandfather. Darius handed them tissues. She was trying to save Loretta from making the same mistakes. Benjamin cleared his throat. We can use this in court. It's proof of her mental capacity when she created the will. Proof that she knew exactly what she was doing when she left everything to Loretta. No. Loretta wiped her tears. This video is mine. It's private. It's between me and my mother. The rest of the evidence is enough. Are you sure? I'm sure. Loretta stood, stronger now. My mother gave me this message because she loved me, not so I could use it as a weapon. I have plenty of other weapons. They returned to Darius's brownstone with the box of designs. Loretta spread them across the kitchen table, studying each one. Her mother's talent was undeniable. The pieces were elegant, timeless, exactly the kind of jewelry wealthy women would pay fortunes for. We need to start this company properly. Loretta looked at Darius and Kevin. Find the right location, hire the right people, actually create these pieces. I know jewelers. Benjamin was making notes. Craftspeople who can bring these designs to life. And I know galleries that would kill to showcase something like this. There's a building. Loretta pulled up information on her phone. One of the properties Mom left me. It's in Soho. Currently rented out to a boutique, but the lease ends next month. We could use it as both workspace and showroom. Perfect. Darius leaned over her shoulder, looking at the photos. It's beautiful, right in the heart of the arts district. Kevin was sketching something on a piece of paper. What if we did a launch event, a big one? Invite celebrities, fashion people, press. Make Elena's legacy impossible to ignore. That's brilliant, Benjamin smiled. And if we time it right, we could have the launch right after the court case. Show Matthew and Kimberly that while their world is falling apart, yours is rising. I like it. Loretta felt excitement building, real excitement, not just anger. We create something beautiful out of all this ugliness. They worked late into the night, planning. Loretta sketched her own designs to complement her mother's. Kevin researched social media strategies. Darius made lists of potential craftspeople and suppliers. Benjamin handled legal structures and trademarks. At midnight, Kevin finally fell asleep at the table, his head on his folded arms. Darius carried him upstairs to bed. When he came back down, Loretta was standing at the window, holding one of her mother's necklace designs. This was her favorite. She showed Darius the sketch. A phoenix rising from flames, rendered in diamonds and gold. She drew it a week before she died. The notes say, "For my girl who will rise." That needs to be the centerpiece of your collection. It will be. Loretta traced the phoenix with her finger. I'll call it Elena's fire. Your mother would love that. I hope so. I hope wherever she is, she can see what I'm building. I hope she knows I didn't give up. Darius moved to stand beside her. She knows. The dead always know when their children honor them. Do you really believe that? I have to. Otherwise, everything we do to honor the people we've lost is meaningless. Darius looked at her carefully. My wife used to say that the best revenge against death is to live spectacularly, to create beauty, to refuse to be diminished by loss. You're doing that. You're living spectacularly. I don't feel spectacular. I feel terrified and determined and angry all at once. That's what spectacular looks like. It's not graceful. It's not calm. It's just refusing to stop moving forward no matter what. Loretta set down the sketch and turned to face Darius. Thank you for everything you've done for us, Kevin and me. You didn't have to help us. Yes, I did. Because if I don't help people like you, then my wife's death meant nothing. Every family I save is a way of saving her retroactively. Does that make sense? Perfect sense. Loretta felt something warm spread through her chest. You're a good man, Darius, right? I'm a man who's trying to be good. There's a difference. He smiled. But I appreciate the compliment. They stood together in comfortable silence, the night settling around them. Outside, New York continued its endless movement. Inside, two damaged people found healing in each other's presence. The court date is in 3 days, Loretta said eventually. Benjamin says Matthew will try to destroy me on the stand, make me look unstable. Then you stay calm. You tell the truth. You show the judge who you really are. What if the judge doesn't believe me? What if Matthew's lawyers are better? They're not better than the truth, and Kevin's testimony will seal it. No judge will give custody to a man who abandoned his son for an affair. Loretta nodded, trying to believe him. What if I break down in court? What if I'm not strong enough? Then you break down, and then you stand back up. Strength isn't about never falling. It's about always getting back up. You said that before. Because it's true. Darius touched her shoulder gently. You've survived everything they've thrown at you. You'll survive this too. Loretta covered his hand with hers. Will you come to court? I know you don't have to, but I'd feel stronger if you were there. I'll be there, front row, watching you win. Promise? Promise. They went upstairs eventually, exhausted but hopeful. Tomorrow, they'd continue planning the company. The day after, final preparations for court. Then the battle would truly begin. But tonight, for the first time in years, Loretta felt like she was building something instead of just surviving something, and that made all the difference. Chapter 7. The Exposure. The courthouse steps felt like walking toward battle. Loretta wore one of her mother's designs, a simple silver necklace she'd found in the safe deposit box. She touched it like a talisman as she, Kevin, Darius, and Benjamin approached the building. Remember, Benjamin said quietly, stay calm, answer questions directly. Don't let Matthew's lawyer bait you into anger. I'll try. Don't try. Do. Benjamin squeezed her shoulder. You've got this. Inside, the courtroom was already filling. Loretta saw Matthew immediately, flanked by 3 lawyers in expensive suits. He looked haggard, thinner than she remembered. When their eyes met, his face twisted with something between rage and desperation. Kimberly sat on the other side of the room, her lawyer beside her. She'd dressed expensively, dripping with jewelry. Loretta recognized some of the pieces, her mother's jewelry, stolen and worn like trophies. Look at her. Kevin's voice was hard. Wearing grandma's things like she has any right. Not for much longer. Benjamin guided them to their seats. After today, everything goes back to where it belongs. The bailiff called the court to order. Judge Williams entered, a stern-faced woman who looked like she'd seen every kind of family drama and had patience for none of it. This court will hear multiple related cases today, Judge Williams began. Estate fraud, divorce proceedings, and custody matters. I've reviewed the evidence submitted by both parties. Now I want to hear testimony. Mr. Okafor, you may call your first witness. I call Loretta Neeson to the stand. Loretta walked to the witness box, her legs steady despite her fear. She was sworn in and sat, facing the courtroom. Benjamin approached her gently. Mrs. Neeson, can you describe your relationship with your late mother? She was everything to me. Loretta's voice was clear. She raised me alone mostly. My father worked constantly. When she got sick, she made sure I knew I was loved. She tried to protect me even while she was dying. And after she passed away, my father married Kimberly within months. Everything changed. How so? Loretta looked directly at Kimberly. Kimberly made my life hell. She locked me in basements when my father was gone, told him I was lying when I tried to tell him what she did, wore my mother's clothes, sat in my mother's chair, erased every trace of the woman who'd loved me. Did your father believe you when you told him about this treatment? No, he believed her, always. Benjamin showed the court photographs. Can you identify this picture? That's Kimberly and my father. The date on the back shows it was taken before my mother died. They were having an affair while my mother was in the hospital. Matthew's lawyers objected. The judge overruled them. Benjamin continued. Mrs. Neeson, what did you discover about your mother's estate? That she'd left me properties, investments, and her jewelry design business. But documents were forged to make it look like she left everything to my father, who then gave it all to Kimberly. How do you know they were forged? Because Benjamin Okafor has the original will, the real one, filed and witnessed before my mother died. It leaves everything to me. Benjamin presented the documents. The court examined them. Judge Williams's face grew stern. These wills are significantly different, the judge noted. Mr. Okafor, you're claiming one is fraudulent. Yes, Your Honor. The version filed after Mrs. Elena Martinez's death was forged. We have handwriting analysis, notary records, everything needed to prove it. Matthew's lead lawyer stood. Objection. These are serious allegations. They're also documented. Benjamin handed over more evidence. Handwriting experts confirm the signature on the false will doesn't match Elena Martinez's actual signature. The notary listed on the document has no record of witnessing it. This was fraud, plain and simple. Judge Williams studied the documents. I'll review this thoroughly. Continue, Mr. Okafor. Mrs. Neeson, let's move to your marriage. When did you discover your husband's affair? Recently, my son discovered it first. He'd been collecting evidence for months. And the affair was with? Kimberly, my stepmother. The courtroom erupted in whispers. Judge Williams called for order. Matthew's lawyer jumped up. Your Honor, this is irrelevant to the estate fraud case. It's entirely relevant, Benjamin countered. It shows a pattern of Kimberly and Matthew conspiring together. First to steal Loretta's inheritance, then to destroy her marriage. Judge Williams nodded. I'll allow it. Continue. Benjamin called Kevin to the stand. The boy walked up with his head high, refusing to look at his father. Kevin, you collected evidence of your father's affair? Yes, sir. Why? Because I knew he was lying to my mom. I knew she deserved better. I wanted her to have proof so he couldn't talk his way out of it. That must have been difficult. He's your father. He stopped being my father when he started lying to us every day. Kevin's voice didn't waver. Real fathers don't betray their families. Matthew stood up. Kevin, you don't understand. Sit down, Mr. Neeson. Judge Williams's voice cracked like a whip. You'll have your turn to speak. Matthew sat, his face red with rage. Benjamin showed Kevin's evidence, photos, videos, timestamps showing Matthew's lies. The court viewed them in silence. Kevin, has your father tried to contact you since you and your mother left? He sent messages saying I'm being poisoned against him, that Mom is manipulating me, but I'm not being manipulated. I know what I saw. I recorded what I saw. Do you wish to maintain a relationship with your father? Kevin looked at Matthew finally. No, I don't trust him. I don't respect him, and I don't want to be around someone who thinks lying is acceptable. Matthew's face crumpled. He tried to speak, but his lawyers held him back. Benjamin called Diane, the former housekeeper, who testified about Matthew's father's crimes and Matthew's continuation of them. He called Ruby, the nurse, who testified about Loretta's mother's dying wishes and fears about Kimberly. Each witness built a devastating picture. Then Matthew's lawyers put him on the stand. Matthew tried to paint himself as a victim, a man who'd made mistakes but loved his family, a husband who'd been driven away by Loretta's coldness. Benjamin's cross-examination was brutal. Mr. Neeson, you claim you love your son, yet you chose to have an affair with his step-grandmother. That's a gross simplification. Is it? Yes or no? Did you have sexual relations with Kimberly Martinez while married to Loretta? Yes, but... And this affair lasted how long? A few years. A few years. Benjamin let that hang. And during this time, you lied to your wife daily. I didn't want to hurt her. You didn't want to hurt her, so you betrayed her repeatedly and let her believe her marriage was solid? Benjamin's voice dripped with disdain. That's your definition of not hurting someone? You don't understand the situation. I understand perfectly. You wanted excitement. You wanted Kimberly. You wanted your comfortable marriage and your affair. You wanted everything and thought you'd never face consequences. Matthew's lawyers objected. Judge Williams overruled. Benjamin continued. Did you know Kimberly forged documents to steal Loretta's inheritance? I didn't. Simple question, yes or no? I knew Kimberly had inherited from Loretta's father. I didn't ask questions. Because it benefited you not to ask questions, because if Kimberly had money, you could continue your affair without financial complications. That's not true, isn't it? You transferred money to Kimberly. The court has records, large sums over the past years. Why? She said she needed help. Help stealing from your wife. Benjamin's voice cut. You knew what she was. You knew what she'd done to Loretta as a child. Yet you chose her anyway. Matthew couldn't answer. Kimberly took the stand next. She tried to play the victim too. A woman who'd fallen in love. A stepmother who'd tried her best. Benjamin destroyed her with her own words. He played recordings of phone calls where she'd mocked Loretta, showed emails where she'd planned with Matthew to hide assets, presented evidence of her spending Loretta's money while claiming poverty. Ms. Martinez, you locked Loretta in basements when she was a child. She's exaggerating. I disciplined her. By locking her in the dark, by telling her father she was lying when she begged for help. I was young. I didn't know how to be a mother. You weren't her mother. You were her abuser. Benjamin's voice was cold. And you continued that abuse into adulthood by stealing her inheritance and sleeping with her husband. That's not being a bad mother, that's being a sociopath. Kimberly's lawyer objected frantically. Judge Williams sustained it, but the damage was done. When all testimony concluded, Judge Williams took a recess to review everything. 2 hours later, she returned. I've reviewed the evidence. I've heard the testimony, and I'm appalled by what I've learned. Judge Williams looked at Matthew and Kimberly with open disgust. The fraud case is clear. Documents were forged. Money was stolen. Ms. Martinez, you will face criminal charges. All property and assets fraudulently obtained will be returned to Loretta Neeson immediately. Kimberly gasped. Her lawyer tried to speak, but the judge cut him off. As for the divorce and custody matters, Mr. Neeson, your affair, your lies, and your failure to protect your son make you unfit for custody. Full custody goes to Loretta Neeson. You'll have supervised visitation rights if Kevin chooses to exercise them. Your Honor, please, Matthew begged. I'm not finished. You'll also pay significant alimony and child support. Your marital assets will be divided, but given your deception, the split favors Mrs. Neeson. This court finds your behavior reprehensible. Judge Williams turned to Loretta. Mrs. Neeson, I'm sorry for what you've endured. Your mother tried to protect you, and now the court will honor her wishes. Everything she left you is yours. Everything Kimberly stole is yours. You and your son are free to build your lives without these people in them. Loretta couldn't speak, could only cry. Kevin grabbed her hand. This court is adjourned. The gavel fell. Outside the courtroom, Loretta collapsed against Darius. We won. Oh God, we actually won. You won because you deserved to win. Darius held her. Because truth matters. Because justice exists. Kevin was shaking. Did you hear him? Dad tried to say I was being manipulated, like I'm too stupid to know what I saw. He's desperate. Benjamin packed his briefcase. He lost everything today. His marriage, his son, his money, his reputation. That's what happens when you build your life on lies. Matthew appeared on the courthouse steps, looking destroyed. He saw them and approached. Loretta, please, can we talk? No. Loretta's voice was steel. You heard the judge. You have supervised visitation if Kevin wants it. He doesn't want it. That means you don't get to talk to us. Kevin, son, please. I'm not your son. Kevin's voice was flat. You gave up that right when you chose her over us. Matthew turned to Darius. This is your fault. You turned them against me. No. Darius stepped between Matthew and Loretta. You did this yourself. Every lie, every betrayal, every choice. You destroyed your own family. Now you get to live with that. Security moved Matthew away as he shouted and raged. Kimberly was led out in handcuffs, her face twisted with hatred. This isn't over, she screamed at Loretta. I'll appeal. I'll fight. Fight all you want. Loretta smiled. You already lost. They walked away from the courthouse together. Benjamin split off to file the final paperwork. Darius drove Loretta and Kevin back to Brooklyn. In the car, Kevin broke down completely. All the strength he'd shown in court crumbled. I did it, Mom. I told everyone what Dad did. You were so brave. Loretta held her son. So incredibly brave. But I still love him. Even after everything, part of me still loves him. Does that make me weak? No, baby. It makes you human. Love doesn't die just because someone doesn't deserve it. Will it always hurt like this? Yes. Darius glanced at them in the mirror. But the hurt will get smaller. And one day, you'll realize you've gone a whole day without thinking about him. Then a whole week. Then longer. The pain becomes part of you, but it doesn't control you anymore. That night they celebrated quietly. Take-out food, stories about Loretta's mother, plans for Elena's legacy. We start building tomorrow, Loretta announced. The Soho location, the designs, all of it. We create something beautiful out of all this ugliness. That's how you truly win. Darius raised his glass. Not by destroying them. By building something they could never build, something real and good and lasting. They toasted to new beginnings, and for the first time in years, Loretta believed new beginnings were possible. Chapter 8. The Empire. 6 months transformed everything. Loretta stood in the Soho showroom, watching workers install the final display cases. Elena's legacy was coming to life exactly as she'd imagined it. Glass cases would hold her mother's designs, brought to 3-dimensional reality. Walls painted in soft cream showcased the jewelry like art. Track lighting made every piece sparkle. Mum, the website is live. Kevin called from the back office. We're already getting inquiries. Loretta went to look. The website was elegant, modern, each piece photographed beautifully with stories about Elena's inspiration. Orders were coming in even before the official launch. This is actually happening. Loretta touched the screen in wonder. Did you doubt it would? Darius appeared with coffee, a habit he'd developed over the months. He spent most days here now, helping with everything from construction to bookkeeping. Every single day, Loretta admitted. Every morning I wake up thinking this is too good to be true. It's not too good. It's exactly what you deserve. Darius handed her the coffee. Your mother's designs are extraordinary. Your additions are brilliant. This company will succeed because it's built on real talent. The past months had been a whirlwind. Loretta had hired craftspeople to create the pieces, found a marketing team who understood luxury branding, connected with influencers and fashion editors who fell in love with Elena's story. Kevin had thrown himself into the business. He managed social media, created content, engaged with potential customers. School took a back seat to building something real. "You know you still need to graduate," Loretta reminded him regularly. "I will, but Mom, this is better education than any classroom. I'm learning business, marketing, design, everything." He wasn't wrong. Kevin had matured impossibly fast. The boy who discovered his father's affair was gone. In his place stood a young man who understood how to build something from nothing. "The launch party is in 2 weeks," Darius reminded them. "Guest list is finalized, catering ordered, press confirmed." "I'm terrified," Loretta admitted. "Good, that means you care." Darius smiled. "But you're ready. Elena's legacy is ready." They worked late into the evening, perfecting every detail. When the workers finally left, Loretta, Kevin, and Darius sat among the display cases, exhausted but satisfied. "Grandma would love this." Kevin touched a necklace gently. "She'd be so proud." "She is proud." Loretta believed it fully now. Somewhere she's watching us build this, and she's smiling. Her phone buzzed, a message from Benjamin. "Kimberly's appeal was denied. Fraud conviction stands. She goes to prison next week." Loretta showed them the message. Kevin's face showed grim satisfaction. "Good. She deserves prison for what she did to you." "I don't even feel happy about it," Loretta said honestly. "I just feel empty. Like her going to prison doesn't change what she took from me." "It doesn't change the past," Darius agreed, "but it prevents her from hurting anyone else. That matters." "What about Dad?" Kevin asked. "Have you heard from him?" "No. Benjamin says he lost most of his business partnerships. The company is barely surviving. Matthew's living in a small apartment, working regular hours for the first time in his life." "Does that make you feel anything?" Loretta considered. "I feel sorry for the man I thought he was, but I'm glad the man he actually is finally faced consequences. Does that make sense?" "Perfect sense." Kevin stood and stretched. "I'm going to head home. You two should finish up here." After Kevin left, Loretta and Darius sat in the quiet showroom. Moonlight streamed through the windows, making the jewelry sparkle. "Thank you," Loretta said quietly, "for everything you've done for us. This place, this company, it wouldn't exist without you." "Yes, it would. You would have built it anyway. I just helped you believe you could." "That's everything." Loretta turned to face him. "Believing I could do this, that's what you gave me." They'd grown close over the months. More than friends, but neither had acknowledged it directly. Too much was happening, too much change. But the feeling was there, undeniable. "Darius, Loretta started. "Wait." He pulled out a small box. "I wanted to give you this before the launch, before everything gets crazy." Loretta opened the box. Inside was a simple bracelet handcrafted from silver, engraved on the inside, "Elena's daughter, Elena's strength." "I had it made by one of your craftspeople. I hope that's okay. I just wanted you to have something that reminded you who you are. Not Matthew's ex-wife, not Kimberly's victim, Elena's daughter." Loretta's eyes filled with tears. "It's perfect." Darius fastened it around her wrist. His hands lingered on hers. "I need to tell you something." His voice was low. "These past months, helping you build this, watching you become who you were always meant to be. Loretta, I've fallen in love with you." Loretta's breath caught. "Darius." "You don't have to say anything. I know the timing is complicated. I know you're still healing from Matthew. But I needed you to know. When I see you, I don't see someone broken. I see someone extraordinary." "I'm not healed," Loretta said honestly. "I'm still angry sometimes, still hurt, still figuring out who I am without Matthew's lies defining me." "I know. I'm not asking you to be healed. I'm just asking if you feel anything for me, anything at all." Loretta looked at this man who'd given her sanctuary, who'd helped her son heal, who'd believed in her dreams when she'd barely believed in herself. "I feel everything for you," she whispered. "But I'm scared. What if I'm just grateful? What if I'm confusing rescue with love? Then we take it slow. We figure it out together. But Loretta, what I feel for you isn't rescue. It's admiration, it's respect, it's watching you be magnificent and wanting to be part of that magnificence. She kissed him, softly at first, then deeper, months of tension and connection and growing affection pouring into that kiss. When they pulled apart, Darius smiled. I'll take that as a yes. That's a yes to trying, to seeing where this goes, to not being alone anymore. That's all I'm asking for. They sat together in the showroom, surrounded by Elena's legacy and their own growing future. Outside, New York hummed with endless possibility. What happens after the launch? Darius asked eventually. We grow. We expand. We make Elena's legacy into something that lasts generations. And us? What happens with us? We grow too. We see if this feeling is real or just trauma bonding. We take it one day at a time. I can do one day at a time. Darius kissed her forehead. As long as those days include you. The launch party 2 weeks later was perfect. Celebrities wore Elena's pieces. Fashion editors wrote glowing reviews. Orders poured in faster than they could fill them. Kevin worked the room with confidence, telling Elena's story, sharing Loretta's vision. He'd become the face of the company's younger demographic. Loretta wore the phoenix necklace she'd had created from her mother's final design, Elena's fire. It caught light from every angle, impossible to ignore. You're glowing, one editor told her. Not just the jewelry, you. There's a light in you that wasn't there before. That's what freedom looks like. Loretta smiled. That's what building something real looks like. Late in the evening, Darius found her on the balcony, taking a break from the crowd. How are you holding up? I'm perfect. And she meant it. Everything I've worked for, everything Mom dreamed of, it's all coming true. Your mother would be so proud. I know. Loretta touched the phoenix at her throat. I can feel her pride. It's like she's here with me. Below them, Soho sparkled with life. The showroom glowed with success. Inside, Kevin laughed with guests, fully in his element. We did it, Loretta said softly. We survived them all and built something beautiful. You did it, Darius corrected. I just watched you be remarkable. No. Loretta took his hand. We did it together. You, me, Kevin, Benjamin, everyone who believed in Elena's legacy. That's how real things get built, together. They stood on the balcony, watching the party continue below, watching success bloom from the ashes of destruction. And Loretta finally, truly believed she'd won. Chapter 9. The Fall. Matthew Neeson's fall was both spectacular and pathetic. Loretta heard about it from Benjamin first. Matthew's company, once worth billions, had collapsed under the weight of scandal. Investors fled. Partners severed ties. The board of directors voted him out. He's working at a mid-level firm now, Benjamin reported. Regular salary, no power, no influence, just another employee. How did it happen so fast? Because everything he built was built on his father's corruption. Once that came out, everything unraveled. Plus, the affair scandal destroyed his reputation. Nobody wants to do business with a man who betrayed his family. Loretta felt no satisfaction, just a strange emptiness. The man who'd once controlled her life was now irrelevant. Kevin had a different reaction. Good. He deserves worse. Kevin, no, Mom. He does deserve worse. He destroyed you. He lied to me my entire life. I'm glad his world fell apart. Loretta couldn't argue. Part of her agreed. Kimberly's sentencing came next. Prison for fraud and forgery. The judge showed no mercy. You stole from a grieving daughter, the judge said at sentencing. You forged documents to rob someone of their rightful inheritance. You showed no remorse. This court sentences you to maximum terms allowed by law. Kimberly was led away screaming. Loretta didn't attend the sentencing. She was too busy building her company to waste time watching Kimberly's destruction, but Benjamin sent her a message. It's over. She can't hurt you anymore. Loretta's father died quietly in the Connecticut facility. No fanfare, no funeral. He'd outlived his usefulness to everyone who'd claimed to love him. Benjamin called about his will. He left everything to you. Not much. The medical bills ate most of it. But there's a letter. Loretta read the letter alone in her office at Elena's legacy. Her father's shaky handwriting filled the page. Loretta, I have no right to ask for forgiveness. I failed you in every way a father can fail a daughter. I chose comfort over courage. I chose Kimberly over you. I chose silence over truth. These choices destroyed our family and destroyed me. Please know that I died understanding what I'd done. I died knowing I'd thrown away the most precious thing I had, a daughter who deserved better. Use what little I've left you to continue building Elena's legacy. Make it everything your mother dreamed. And if you can, forgive me one day. Not because I deserve it, but because you deserve peace. Your father, who never earned that title. Loretta cried reading it, not from forgiveness, but from the waste of it all. The waste of her childhood, the waste of her father's life, the waste of years spent trying to earn love from people incapable of giving it. Are you okay? Darius found her in her office, tears streaming. My father died. He left me a letter apologizing for everything. Darius read it over her shoulder. Do you forgive him? I don't know. Part of me wants to. Part of me thinks he doesn't deserve it. Both can be true. Darius pulled her close. You can understand why he made his choices and still not forgive him for making them. Is that what you did with the man who killed your wife? No, I never forgave him, but I stopped letting my hatred of him control me. There's a difference. Loretta nodded against his chest. I don't want to be controlled by anger anymore. I want to just be happy. Is that wrong? It's the most right thing in the world. Elena's legacy exploded in success. Within months, they opened a second location, then a third. Orders came from around the world. Celebrities fought to wear the pieces on red carpets. Kevin thrived. He'd become a minor celebrity himself, the teenage CEO's son who ran social media for a luxury brand. Colleges were already courting him. I don't know if I want college, he told Loretta one evening. I'm learning more here than I would in any classroom. You need an education, Kevin. I'm getting one, a real one. Business, marketing, design, everything. This is better than college. They compromised. Kevin would take online courses while continuing to work with Eleanor's legacy. He'd get his degree, but on his terms. Matthew tried to contact Kevin once. A letter delivered to the showroom. Son, I know I've failed you. I know I've lost your trust, but I want you to know I love you. I've always loved you. If you ever want to talk, I'll be here. Your father. Kevin read the letter once, then tore it up. Did you want to respond? Loretta asked gently. No. He had years to be my father. He chose not to. Now he doesn't get to claim the title just because he's lonely. You're allowed to miss him, you know. You're allowed to want him in your life. I don't miss him. I miss who I thought he was. But that person never existed. I'm not going to mourn a fantasy. Kevin had become harder over the months. More cynical. Loretta worried about it. You're allowed to be soft sometimes, she told him. You're allowed to feel things. I feel things. I feel proud of what we've built. I feel happy with our life. I just don't feel anything for Dad anymore, and I don't think I should force myself to. Maybe he was right. Maybe some betrayals were too deep to forgive. Darius proposed to Loretta on a quiet evening in her apartment. No fanfare, no grand gesture. Just him, on one knee, holding a simple ring. I know we said we'd take it slow, but Loretta, life is short. I lost my first wife because I waited too long to protect her. I'm not making that mistake again. I love you. I want to spend whatever time we have left making you happy. Will you marry me? Loretta looked at this man who'd saved her, not in a romantic, heroic way, but in the quiet, steady way that mattered. He'd given her shelter, helped her son heal, believed in her dreams. stood beside her without trying to control her. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, I'll marry you." Kevin walked in on them, celebrating. He stopped in the doorway, taking in the ring, the tears, the joy. "You're getting married? If that's okay with you." Loretta held her breath. Kevin's opinion mattered. Kevin crossed the room and hugged Darius. "It's more than okay. It's perfect. You're good for her. You're good for us." "I'll never try to replace your father," Darius said seriously. "I know he's still your dad, no matter what happened. You're not replacing him. You're being something he never was. A man who keeps his promises." Kevin turned to his mother. "Marry him, Mom. Be happy. You deserve it." They planned a small wedding. Just close friends. Benjamin would officiate. The ceremony would be at Eleanor's legacy, surrounded by the company they'd built together. "Your mother would love this," Darius said as they planned. "You're building a life from the ashes of what they destroyed. That's the ultimate victory." "I wish she could be here to see it. She sees it, I'm sure of that, and she's so proud." The wedding took place on a clear Saturday morning. Loretta wore a simple dress and her mother's jewelry. Kevin stood beside her, giving her away. "Take care of her," Kevin told Darius solemnly. "She's the strongest person I know, but she still needs someone who sees that strength and honors it." "I will, I promise." They said their vows, surrounded by Elena's designs, promised to build a life together, promised to honor both their pasts while creating new futures. When they kissed, Kevin cheered, their small group of friends applauded, and Loretta felt something she hadn't felt in years: complete happiness. That evening, as she and Darius danced in the showroom, Kevin took photos for social media. The story of Elena's legacy had become legendary. A woman who'd survived betrayal to build an empire, a son who'd stood by his mother, a love story born from tragedy. People ate it up, orders doubled, then tripled. "We're going to need more staff," Kevin noted. "We can't keep up with demand." "Then we'll hire more." Loretta smiled. "We'll grow as big as we need to be." "Mom?" Kevin's voice turned serious. "Thank you for not giving up. After Dad, after everything, you could have just broken. But you didn't. You built this instead. You showed me that people who try to destroy you don't get to win. Not unless you let them. You showed me that too." Loretta pulled her son close. "You're the reason I kept fighting. You're the reason I couldn't give up." "We saved each other," Kevin said simply. "That's what families do." As the evening wound down, Loretta stood alone in the showroom one last time. She touched the phoenix necklace, her mother's final design. "We did it, Mom," she whispered. "We survived them all. We built something beautiful. We won." She swore she felt warmth, like her mother's hand on her shoulder, like approval radiating through time and death. "I hope you're proud." Loretta's voice cracked. "I hope wherever you are, you know I never gave up. I never stopped fighting, just like you taught me." Darius appeared behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "Ready to go home?" "Ready." Loretta turned off the lights, locking the door behind them. Tomorrow, they'd return to building the business, to filling orders and creating new designs, to expanding Elena's legacy into something generational. But tonight, she went home with her new husband and her son, her family, the one she'd built from the ruins of what Matthew and Kimberly had destroyed. And that was the greatest victory of all. Chapter 10. The Phoenix. 5 years changed everything. Loretta stood in the flagship Elena's Legacy store on Fifth Avenue, watching morning sunlight stream through crystal displays. The company had exploded beyond anything she'd imagined. Stores in Paris, London, Tokyo, a wait list for custom pieces stretching 2 years long. Her mother's designs had become iconic, recognizable anywhere. Kevin was finishing college now, still running social media while studying business. He'd become the face of Eleanor's legacy, the young man who'd stood by his mother and helped build an empire. Darius was her partner in everything. They'd bought her mother's brownstone back, restored it exactly as Eleanor had kept it, lived there surrounded by memories that no longer hurt. "Mrs. Wright?" An assistant approached. "The gala is tonight. Final preparations are ready." "Thank you, Amanda." Tonight, Elena's legacy would unveil its most ambitious collection yet. Phoenix Rising, pieces inspired by Loretta's journey. Each design told a story of survival, of transformation, of women who refused to stay broken. The gala would raise money for domestic abuse survivors, for women escaping powerful men who thought they were untouchable. Everything Loretta had survived now served a purpose beyond herself. She walked through the store, touching displays lovingly. This was real. This existed. No one could take it away. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "I saw the article about tonight's gala. You've done well for yourself. I'm proud of you. Matthew." Loretta stared at the message. After 5 years of silence, he reached out now. When she was at her highest, she deleted the message without responding. Matthew Neeson no longer existed in her world. He'd become a footnote in her story, not the main chapter. That evening, the gala was perfection. Celebrities wore Phoenix Rising pieces. Survivors shared their stories. Money poured in for the foundation. Loretta gave a speech to hundreds. "My mother taught me that the best revenge is becoming everything people said you couldn't be. She died believing I'd survive the people who tried to break me. Tonight I honor her by showing everyone what survival looks like. It looks like strength, like building instead of destroying, like loving yourself enough to refuse to disappear." The crowd stood and applauded. Kevin wiped tears. Darius held her hand. After, they went to her mother's grave. Loretta placed a Phoenix Rising necklace on the headstone. "You were right about everything, Mom. You said I'd survive them. You said I'd build something beautiful. You said I'd rise like the phoenix." Loretta touched the cold stone. "I did it all. And every success is because you loved me enough to prepare me for the worst." Kevin placed flowers beside the necklace. "Grandma, I wish you could have met me. Mum says I have your fire. I hope that's true. I hope I make you proud." "She is proud." Loretta pulled her son close. "She's watching both of us become everything she dreamed we could be." Darius stood behind them, solid and present. "Elena's watching," he said quietly, "and she's smiling." They drove through the city together, watching Elena's legacy advertisements on buildings. The company had become synonymous with strength, elegance, and survival. "Mom, look!" Kevin pointed to a billboard. A model wearing the Phoenix necklace, the tagline reading, "Elena's Legacy, for women who rise." "Your mother would have loved that." Darius smiled. Simple, powerful, true. They returned home to the brownstone. Inside, everything was exactly as Elena had kept it, but filled now with new life. Photos of Kevin's graduation, pictures from Loretta and Darius's wedding, evidence of happiness rebuilt from ruins. Loretta stood in her mother's old studio, now her design workspace. Sketches covered the walls, new pieces in development, the legacy continuing, expanding, transforming. A knock at the door interrupted her thoughts. Darius answered it, his voice turning cold. "You're not welcome here." Loretta came to the door. Matthew stood on the steps, older, grayer, diminished. He looked nothing like the powerful man who'd once controlled her life. "I just wanted to see you." His voice was small. "To tell you in person how sorry I am." "You're sorry." Loretta's voice was ice. "After 5 years of silence, you show up at my home to tell me you're sorry. I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I know what I did was unforgivable. But I needed you to know that watching you succeed, watching Kevin become an incredible young man, it's shown me everything I threw away." "You didn't throw us away." Loretta stepped onto the porch, facing him directly. "We left you. We chose to survive without you. There's a difference." Matthew flinched. "Kevin won't answer my messages, won't see me. I've missed 5 years of his life. That was your choice. You chose Kimberly. You chose lies. Kevin chose self-respect. He chose to be nothing like you. Can I at least talk to him? Tell him I'm proud of the man he's becoming? No. Kevin appeared in the doorway. You can't. You lost that right when you betrayed Mom. When you lied to my face every single day. When you chose your affair over your family. Matthew's eyes filled with tears. Kevin, please. I'm your father. You're the man who helped create me. That's biology, not fatherhood. Kevin's voice was steady, final. Darius has been more of a father to me in 5 years than you were my entire childhood. He shows up. He keeps promises. He loves Mum without conditions. That's what fathers do. I made mistakes. You made choices. Loretta cut him off. Every lie was a choice. Every betrayal was a choice, and now you live with the consequences. We're not those consequences, Matthew. We're not here to make you feel better about destroying your family. Matthew looked at the three of them standing united in the doorway. What happened to Kimberly? Prison. Loretta's voice was flat. Where people who commit fraud belong. She gets out next year. I'm sure you two can reconnect then. I haven't spoken to her since the trial. She destroyed my life. No, you destroyed your own life. Kimberly just helped. Loretta stepped back inside. Goodbye, Matthew. Don't come here again. Loretta, please. You heard her. Darius's voice was steel. Leave. Now. Matthew stood on the steps, broken and alone. As they closed the door, Loretta watched through the window. He walked away slowly, shoulders slumped, a shell of what he'd been. Do you feel anything? Darius asked gently. Seeing him like that. Pity maybe, but not regret, not guilt. Loretta turned away from the window. He made his bed. Now he sleeps in it. Kevin was shaking slightly. I thought I'd feel something, anger or sadness or something, but I just feel empty, like he's a stranger. He is a stranger. Loretta pulled her son close. The man we thought he was never existed. We were in love with a fantasy, but we're not anymore. We're free of him. That night, after Kevin went to bed, Loretta and Darius sat in the garden, the same garden where Eleanor had planted roses decades ago. They'd restored it, keeping every flower Eleanor had loved. Do you think your mother would approve? Darius asked. Of everything you've built? Of us? I know she would. Loretta touched her wedding ring. She said in her video that I deserved to be loved by someone who saw my worth. That's you. You've always seen my worth, even when I couldn't see it myself. You're extraordinary. That's never been a question. They sat in comfortable silence, the garden peaceful around them. Loretta thought about her journey, from that night at the window, watching Matthew betray her, to this moment of complete peace. I won, she said suddenly. Not because Matthew lost everything, but because I built something real, something that matters, something that will outlive all of us. That's the only victory that counts, Darius agreed. Not destroying your enemies, building something they could never build. Mom understood that. She could have spent her dying days planning revenge. Instead, she spent them building weapons for me to create something beautiful. Elena was a remarkable woman. She raised a remarkable daughter. Loretta smiled. And that remarkable daughter is raising a remarkable son. The cycle of strength continues. Days later, Elena's legacy announced its biggest expansion yet. A foundation providing business grants to abuse survivors. A mentorship program pairing successful women with those escaping dangerous situations. Everything Loretta had learned, everything she'd survived, now serving a purpose beyond herself. The press coverage was enormous. Loretta did interviews, telling her story without shame. The window, the discovery, the fight to take back what was stolen, Kevin's courage, Eleanor's foresight, the building of an empire from ashes. Women around the world reached out, sharing their own stories, thanking Loretta for showing them that survival was possible, that thriving was possible, that the people who tried to break you didn't get to write your ending. You've become a symbol, Benjamin told her during a meeting. Not just of survival, but of transformation. People see you and believe they can rebuild their own lives. That's what Mom wanted. Loretta looked at Elena's photograph on her desk. She wanted me to show other women that being broken doesn't mean staying broken. The final event of the year was a private ceremony. Just Loretta, Kevin, Darius, and a few close friends. They unveiled a statue in the Elena's Legacy flagship store. Elena Martinez, captured in bronze, holding jewelry designs, her face showing the strength she'd passed to her daughter. The plaque read, Elena Martinez, Mother Designer Phoenix. She rose so her daughter could fly. Loretta stood before her mother's statue, tears streaming. I did it, Mom. Everything you wanted for me, everything you dreamed, I built it all. And I named it after you so everyone would know where the strength came from. Kevin placed flowers at the statue's base. Grandma, you saved us. Your plans, your designs, your love, it all saved us. Thank you. Darius wrapped his arms around both of them. She's with you always, in every design, every decision, every moment of strength. Elena never left you. That night, Loretta returned to her mother's grave one final time. She placed a key at the headstone, the key to the flagship store. This is yours, Mom, all of it. Every success, every triumph, every moment of joy. It's all because you loved me enough to prepare me for war. You gave me weapons, you gave me strength, you gave me everything. She touched the cold stone, feeling warmth despite the winter air. I'm not broken anymore. I'm not the scared girl Kimberly tortured. I'm not the wife Matthew betrayed. I'm Elena's daughter, and that means I'm unstoppable. Walking back to the car where Darius and Kevin waited, Loretta felt complete peace. The people who'd tried to destroy her were gone, irrelevant, powerless. She'd risen from their ashes. She'd become the phoenix her mother always knew she could be. And that was the greatest revenge of all.